name is SiMODiSA. I'm the Managing Director of SiMODiSA. And today I have an esteemed panel of entrepreneurs that are in the business of funding businesses. Small businesses is the key to driving South Africa's economy. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my panelists. On my far right is Darlene Menzies. She's the founder of FinFind. I have Jeff Miller. Jeff is a serial entrepreneur. He started a couple of businesses in his life. And then we have Chris Campbell. This morning we launched the South African Business Angels Network. And it's about the angels that we all hear about, but what is angel investing in South Africa? So, Darlene, tell us more about FinFind, because a lot of people sitting here want funding. And a lot of people sitting here believe that if you don't have funding, you're not really going to be able to start a business. But tell us, what does FinFind do to assist people that could be in the audience that are looking for funding in South Africa?
Look, when it comes to the entrepreneur, there's a number of problems. First of all, you don't know who all the lenders are. So there's over 200 different lending organizations in the country, and you probably know about the 4 banks and 1 or 2 other things. Government have a lot of grants, cost-sharing incentives, loans, etc. But where do you go to find out in one place all of that information? So about 5 years ago, USAID came into South Africa from America, and they wanted to do research around this problem of access to finance in South Africa. All the problems that you're sitting out there, you don't know the lenders, what are the products, what are the criteria. So they put together a solution called FinFind. It's a one-stop shop. It's an online solution. You go to www.finfindeasy.co.za, F-I-N-F-I-N-D-E-A-S-Y, FinFind Easy. And when you go in there, there's over 380 products from over 170 lenders. All of the banks, the venture capitalists, the people that are doing debtor finance, all invoice factoring, any kind of lending that you can think of. And in FinFind, the first thing it does, it teaches you about finance. If you don't know what a term loan is, if you don't know what collateral is, it's got a very simple way of a dictionary of teaching you that. But the most powerful part is where you go and you click on the Get Finance button. And in there, it asks you a number of questions. So it finds out you're a black woman-owned business in Gauteng, in construction, turning over 5 million. You're looking for 800,000 expansion finance. This is how many staff you've got. So it asks you a number of questions. At the end of those questions, it looks at all of those 380 funds and it says, which of the criteria does your business meet that those lenders will lend to? And it filters out all those that won't lend to you, and it only leaves those that will lend to you.
Great. Chris, I'm going to jump to you before I go back to you, Jeff. In terms of funding terms, how do you define a startup? Because I'm sure a lot of people in our audiences are not sure, when do I actually go and get funding? I'm a startup. Can I actually get funding? So how do you define startup in funding terms?
In terms of the funding space and when are you going to look for funding, when do you need funding, I think it's very different for each business, obviously. I think you've got a very different need if you need to pay for your own rent and food and living. That's a much bigger challenge. If you can't do that, then you can't live. Then it's a big challenge. Versus deciding to take on investment to grow your business. So you've kind of got your survival cash that you need, and that's much more difficult to get funding for. But every startup, and to be a startup, somehow you have to pay to live. So every startup needs that funding.
Brilliant. Thank you, Chris. Jeff, friends, family, fools. That's the words that you tend to hear when you are in a startup phase. And tell us about GrowVest. Do you fund startups, firstly? And secondly, what is it that you're looking for when you're funding startups?
Okay, so as I said, we have 5 different funds. 4 of the funds are looking for more established type businesses with some traction. But our seed fund, which is a partnership with Women's Development Bank, which we've just launched, together with, it's called the WDB Seed Fund, is focused on what we call the missing middle. And this is really early stage entrepreneurs who cannot get funding because they really haven't yet got traction or sales or customers, but they're close to that. And we believe that this, in South Africa, this is a very, very big piece that's missing. And so we've put this fund together.
Darlene, what are the inherent risks in funding startups?
Matthews, the question you're asking is, you know, sometimes I say to people, would you back yourself? Because sometimes your business plan or not your business plan, your business model is not actually sound. So you're going after an idea which actually is not really going to generate revenue, and then you get very upset with the lenders when they don't want to lend you money. So you really have to have a look at, do you have a market? If you don't have a market, you don't have a business. No one's going to fund you if there's no market. So even if you have a new idea, typically you have to have a market for that.
Brilliant. On that note, I would like to thank you very much for coming. I hope this was very insightful, and we wish you all the best. Thank you.